What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Down the Rabbit Hole. I am the Oklahoma Nick.
And I'm Ellie. And this week...
Oh.
Go ahead. You go.
All I was going to say, and that motherfucker right there is not real.
No. I am 100% a clone. I'm not existing. The world is a lie. Everything you know is a lie. Nobody is safe.
Nobody's safe. Well, because it makes me, and it's because I've always been scared to run into my doppelganger, because I guess the myth or story, folks, whatever the thing is called, is that if you run into your doppelganger, that then you're sentenced to immediate death at some point. I don't know if you're supposed to fight to the death with your doppelganger and just establish dominance.
Well,
or if you're supposed to or if it's a premonition or something, it's just one of you is gonna die.
Well, so there's a few trains of thought on this, right? So one theory is if you meet your doppelganger, then your timelines have crossed and you're in another dimension. And that's where the whole you cease to exist thing happens, because then what movie was it recently where they saw their doppelgangers and they started going down? Oh no, that wasn't a recent movie. I just watched some old indie movie with Tony recently, and they were time travelers and they saw their selves and it turned into a whole thing. But so basically, that's the one train of thought where it's just kind of if you see your doppelganger, then you're in the wrong timeline. And then the other train of thought is more of the spiritual side of things, as to there's two of you, and there's a good doppelganger and the evil doppelganger. And the evil, and the evil one kills you, allegedly.
Well, I hope to God I don't ever run into my doppelganger. I don't know, because I know that he or they all exist. They exist out there.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know where they are, or maybe that timeline hasn't crossed. Because I know that I believe in that there's an alternate universe version of myself somewhere.
Yeah,
I just don't know where.
Well,
and
that's
it's
true
terrifying.
For everyone. Yeah.
I just hope that he's doing well.
I hope Doppelganger Ellie is living her best life and has
That's
all the dogs. I hope she's doing much better financially.
But speaking of doppelgangers, though, what's gotten brought to my attention is how we've brought up in other NFA episodes and stuff like that. We've talked about how Zaga asked, "Would you eat a baby? Would you or would you not eat a baby to join the Illuminati?"
Eating that baby.
And so there is stories going around that the Illuminati, the higher ups, the higher ends, have made clones of people, and not just ordinary people, because if you can't just clone ordinary people and just call it a fucking day,
right?
That's what are you going to gain out of that?
Absolutely literally nothing.
Because you can't push your message.
Exactly.
You can't push your agenda. So what has been brought to my attention is that there have been clones made of celebrities, very important people, to carry out said agendas. And as you went down it, because it obviously fits down the rabbit hole, I started going down the rabbit hole fairly well, very fast. With this, I felt like Alice in Wonderland, honestly. It was low-key kind of scary, because you start kind of adding things up, and then you have tangents of these people or situations of what's going on. It's scary. But the list that I have come across, where did it go?
Of cloned
it
people.
Was of alleged cloned people. But there are a lot of signs that these people are said cloned, and it's to give some of the big names that are currently out there, Beyonce is considered one of the people that have been cloned. Avril Lavigne, that's going to hit the 90s kids, is Avril Lavigne.
That one I've heard a lot about. Yeah.
And see, I have never heard about that until just recently. I looked into it and I talked to my girlfriend about it, and she had even heard of it. And that's she had mentioned that this is one of the big ones that has been talked about amongst a lot of people. And because
it checks, honestly.
Well, and after I'd looked more into it, it actually did check. It's because Avril Lavigne, when she first got introduced to us in the early 2000s and stuff like that, is that she was always like this whole punk thing. Like it's like she made her own image and like she was doing her own thing. And then you fast forward to like 2022, 2023, and now like she's just like this completely different like person. Like she's wearing more vibrant colors. There was I read somewhere about she has the word Melissa tattooed, uh
On her hand,
or it's
right?
not
It's like on
it's
the
not, well,
side
not
of her
tattooed,
hand.
it's written. Yeah, it's on her hand. And so that was because people start to like point out like different like character differences, like physical differences
And it's
in.
always the most minute ones too.
Yep.
Like the
Like a
stuff that
beauty mark
Mhm.
or like an earlobe or like something that's so like something that should not stand out and it stands out.
Well, the earlobes are the
And,
big ones because I know specifically with the Avril Lavigne theory, so
uh-huh.
you can't like disconnect and reconnect an earlobe. That is like purely genetic. And when you look at Melissa's earlobes versus Avril's, I think it was Avril's are disconnected and Melissa's are connected. And like that was one of the big reasons as to why everyone was just kind of like, hmm, okay, that's sus. That and the fact that Avril like completely disappeared out of the public eye for what, a decade?
Yeah, she was gone for a cool minute. Like and that again, I was bouncing ideas off of my girlfriend and she brought up how that Avril Lavigne has not put out any like, or at least to our knowledge, recent music that we can think of. And so now that she's becoming more quote unquote um know or like being seen more in the public eye,
Mm,
I mean, things kind of just don't make sense. Like they don't add up. Like you don't like disappear off the map and all of a sudden like, oh hey, I'm gonna come back into the limelight. That's like Rick Moranis, who was in Spaceballs and Honey I Shrunk the Kids and
right.
Little Shop of Horrors and stuff like that. He fell off the map uh, strictly for personal reasons and stuff like that, and he stayed off the map.
Right.
He's never really come back into the limelight, but like Avril Lavigne all of a sudden has come back into the limelight. Why?
Right, and it's one of those things, like, everybody kinda just says, "Oh, well, she must need money from her divorce settlement from what's his nuts from, Nickelback or whatever," but, like, if that
I thought it
were
was some 41.
nah, she was married to the, Chad Kroeger from Nickelback.
What? I
Yeah.
did not know that.
Yeah, I was pissed, dude.
I did not know she was married to Chad Kroeger. I knew that she was dating the guy from the lead singer of Sum 41. I can never remember his name, but I know that they were dating and then like he kind of had a downfall. She had an uprising
Yeah.
during those times and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know they were together for a while, and then recently she's been dating Mod's son, which is very odd to me. Like, very odd. That's up there with Kim Kardashian dating Pete Davidson odd. But it was just kinda interesting to, because like, if artists and whatnot come back into the limelight, quote, unquote, because they need money, usually they'll just do,
Right.
like, a quick tour or they'll release an album, whereas she's just redoing her entire career, and that's what's making me wonder if there could be some actual meat to this story, that and the fact that the earlobes don't check. Anybody can get a nose job, but nobody's getting their earlobes sewed back on.
Right. Well, so after finding out that Avril Lavigne was considered one of the bigger potential clones in the limelight of Hollywood and stuff like that, there is another one that's probably going to rub a couple people the wrong way, and it's Taylor Swift
This is my favorite conspiracy theory. This is my favorite one.
because and because Taylor Swift never left the limelight.
No, never.
She always goes through the crazy breakups where she puts out quote unquote bangers, which I'm not a Swifty or whatever the hell it's called,
You got it. A
or anything.
Swifty.
Oh, is it Swifty?
Yep,
Okay,
you got it.
I think of Rick and Morty. Let's get Swifty and stuff like that.
I mean,
Uh, or show me what you got.
show
Um,
me.
but so apparently, um, if anyone is familiar, if you're listening to this, and if you're familiar with Anton LaVey's Church of Satan, then you probably know that it wasn't exactly a church, that they didn't actually believe in Satan, and that LaVey, who died in '97, was, by his own admission, one of the biggest liars he himself could think of. After his death, his daughter Zena LaVey, known these days according to everything
The
like the
interwebs.
inter- I was literally going to say interwebs. She's known as Zanae Shrek, or simply Zanea. So she pretty much pulled a Prince.
Yeah.
And briefly ascended to the head of the organization, after which she became a visual artist and basically faded into obscurity, except that in certain corners of the internet, because I mean the dark web. And because of that, turns out that Zaina bears an uncanny resemblance to the mega superstar who is making her rounds as of late, who is known as the quote unquote innocent Taylor Swift. And so that just makes me think that the higher ups are now pushing the Church of Satan,
Well,
or have you.
so here's my theory. So
Give me.
10 out of 10 Taylor Swift is Xena. Whatever the fuck her name is, that they are one in the same person. Because Taylor Swift, when you look at like her rise to fame, like yeah, she started on what was American Idol, like she was America's Sweetheart or something.
I
But
don't even know where she originated from.
yeah, I don't know. All I know is I was 13 and this bitch was famous singing about teardrops on my guitar, and I was like, "Yep." Um, and so, but like she just ascended and is quite arguably one of the most powerful women in America right now. Like she has an entire army of people that stand behind her, and she could
This
make changes in the world if she wanted.
It's usually called the Swiss Army knife, but I think that she has the Swift Army knives.
Got him. Um, that's actually a really good.
The
We're gonna call them the Swifty Army Knives.
Swifty Army knives.
But like, if you think about it, that would be the smartest ploy for the Church of Satan. And also, just for reference, the Church of Satan and the Satanic Temple are two completely different things. In case anybody was interested, the
It's worth the Google.
the Church of Satan actually makes blood sacrifices and eats babies. Like that is, they are wild. And then just like Anton LaVey and his rise to fame, if you look more
Hmm.
into like him as a human being, he is like the craziest of the crazy. And like you said, he admitted on his deathbed everything was a lie. Like that is wild to me.
And people are still like attending.
Yes, still to this day, still attending. And I want to know where this Xena bitch is, because you can't tell me that it's not Taylor Swift. They are
Well, she's selling out
identical.
concerts.
Yeah, well, she's busy. She's paying her truck drivers hundreds of thousands of dollars just for bonuses. The worst part is Taylor is so nice as a human being. Like I've heard people who worked with her and everything like that, and they're just like, "Oh, she's so good. She's the best." I ask of you, what's one way to get more people on your team?
Kill them with kindness.
Kill him with kindness. She's trying to get all. She's gonna bamboozle us all. I swear to God.
She's gonna heck and bamboozle everybody.
Heckin' bamboozle us all. And if you look at the pictures side by side, like I'm looking at them right now, they're the same human being.
I looked them up today, and it was scary how close resemble they are.
Even the hair, dude. Like the hair, the jawline. Like Xena definitely looks like Taylor 20 pounds heavier. Like
I
that is all
mean,
it is.
and someone said like one of the characteristics that stood out on like how Taylor Swift, how like she's so much bigger now, is that her red lipstick is like a sign of like,
Yeah, that's a big one.
yeah.
Well, because the red lipstick was Xena's trademark. That was because also in the Satanic Church, they do like the red robes and all that shit. So like that was a big thing for Xena. It was like her trademark, and it's also now Taylor's trademark after her album Red came out, and like this whole reputation. And that's the other thing. She's dropping like her Reputation albums, and all of her like albums have some are shrouded in some sort of like backstory, some sort of
Hmm.
mystery. And I can guarantee as soon as the record Karma comes out, we're gonna be able to start putting some more of these pieces together, because none of this, like everything around her points to the fact that she's a clone. Nothing makes sense. Like, where did she even come from? Do we even know who her parents are? I have questions.
You know, I've never I've never dove that far, and like, because she's never mentioned her parents in like shows, interviews,
Hmm.
or anything like that. And I've seen like celebrities, and they've talked about their childhood, they've talked about their parents, and she's the one that has never honestly talked about either of those. So that does raise a question.
Allegedly, so I just Googled Taylor Swift's parents just to see if I could put a name to the face, and apparently
Are they dead?
they have an abandoned mansion.
An abandoned mansion.
Yeah, this mansion is huge, and apparently they just abandoned it. It was actually it never got finished. She built the house for her parents. It was never lived in. That's sus. If your daughter builds you a whole ass mansion, you're not gonna move in? That's weird.
That's very weird. It's mind-boggling to say the least.
Mm. And also, there are no pictures of her parents that I'm seeing. This mansion is
See,
fucking huge, dude.
that still just makes me that's just weird. Like if there's no pictures and she's never has mentioned anything. No, thanks to her parents, which I'm not saying. I mean, look, I'll even go out on a limb and say that what's the possibility that she had a bad childhood and so she doesn't converse with her parents anymore? Like she just cut those ties, which is a possibility.
I
Like
mean, it's
I'll open up all
possible,
possibilities.
but she would. I feel like that would have. Oh, I finally got a picture of it. Them. Okay, she looks nothing
Okay,
like her parents.
she had to be adopted or cloned.
She's definitely cloned because I'm looking at her right now, and I'm usually pretty good at seeing like a parent in their kids, and she is
Uh huh.
neither of them. She's blonde like her mom, but guess what? Bleach is a thing, so that's about it. That's the only family resemblance there. That's weird.
So, from what I see, so the whole clone thing, like I guess, like started like sparking interest or like controversy when, and it was like way back in the day, and I'm talking about like back in the Beatles when Paul McCartney quote unquote died. Um, he wasn't he wasn't cloned, but there was a lookalike. Um, and I think that the early Illuminati, like the OG members or whatever, before it like got even bigger, um, noticed how much influence a lookalike could provide
Mm-hmm.
without their influence. So you think like, okay, well, if we enact our influence upon said clone, then we can like outsource or like spread so much more of what we're trying to do. And so, like, from what like I'm reading, it says the entire operation is run by a collective consisting of the Freemasons, a group called the Viril Society, and of course Scientologists. So Tom Cruise, that includes you. You're part of the Illuminati, or you're part of the cloning process. So congratulations.
He has a clone.
And I'm honestly, I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised with Tom Cruise.
Not at all.
But it says the members of the Illuminati, and this part right here is what I've been saying for a few years now,
Mhm.
is that which the Illuminati consistently it contains uh, all of the G20 world leaders. So when they go to like the world leaders from all over the world go to this quote unquote summit
Mhm.
that is in like some undisclosed location,
Always undisclosed. I never even
and
got
it
to
goes.
find out where that like they
I
kept it super secret always.
always I've never even I've looked I've tried to research it, can't find it,
Nope.
and come to find out apparently like they do. And again, this is all from what I'm reading. So if anyone if you're listening to this and you have more information, please send it our way.
Because we
But
need to
apparently
know.
we do. But they hold these meetings, those G20 summits in like subterranean bunkers, which I'm gonna go ahead and guess that's where they clone said like musicians, actors, comedians, whatever it is. But I think that this political party or political people started bringing movie stars, musicians there to hang out with them, have a good time, kind of like Epstein's Island. That's a tale for another day. And because these actors and musicians are so easily to control, and or yeah, they can control them where where they remember the cloning facility,
Mm.
and then the ones that are like oblivious to everything won't remember anything. So like
So basically, they're picking and choosing who they want to clone based off of who they know can keep their mouth shut.
yeah, that are who are very easily influenced, are people that are like not are not shining well in the limelight,
Right.
and so they're like, okay, well, tell you what, if you sell your soul to us, we will increase your popularity, and you'll gain riches. But after it's like signing the contract with the devil, is that once you sign that, your clone is getting all your riches. Well, and actually, not
Right.
even your clone is getting your riches. The higher up is getting your riches. Your manager, who is more than likely the one that it's not. It's so pretty much human trafficked.
Yeah.
We're gonna go with human trafficking.
So if we look at this subjectively, right? So
Mhm.
if you were part of the Illuminati, at least this is what I would do. I would
Okay.
take the youngest members of Hollywood, right? Because those are going to be the easiest ones to manipulate because they think that, hey, guess what? This is just how everything works. They think that they're going to be on the rise to fame and they're going to start making some money. And then it's super easy to start controlling them, especially when you start with the Bieber. 100% that kid got kidnapped by the Illuminati. You can't tell me he's the same person as he was.
So s- I had actually okay. So I talked about this earlier. Before I hopped on
Mm,
here. So people that I believe that were approached by said Illuminati are the ones that were quote unquote unalived.
Chester
Uh,
Bennington.
Chester Bennington, Chris Cornell, uh, Princess Diana, because Queen
100%.
Elizabeth, 100%.
That
Um,
bitch got shoved down those stairs.
I think no, Princess Diana got killed in
That's
the
right.
car
It was a
explosion.
car. Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah, I believe Aaron Carter uh,
Yeah, I could see that.
was approached.
Yeah.
And there's another Anthony Bourdain.
Anthony Bourdain. Why?
Anthony
What's
so he was on Food Network and Travel Channel, and he would travel across the world, and he would go to like these little holes in the wall, and like he would just travel, and like
oh, that
he
guy.
was yeah, that guy, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
He and so apparently I don't know about the others. And Robin Williams,
Well,
R.I.P.
the rip.
Yeah, but so the three that I at least know about: Chris Cornell, Jesus, Chester Bennington, Chris Cornell, and Anthony Bourdain all had something in common. They were all doing heavy research and getting answers on child trafficking and sex trafficking and stuff like that. Pretty much like the whole Epstein Island thing. And then just lo and behold, they ended up becoming unalive. And not only that, to put the cherry on, just to drop a little
Just a little
salt chef,
Salt Bay
yeah, just a
action.
little Salt Bay action. I believe Chester Bennington was sexually abused and trafficked as a younger child.
All right.
And
I
so
need to see your
when you
evidence on that. Is that just based off theory, or do you actually have a reason to believe that? Because that I'm
that is
curious.
my theory. That is my theory.
It would make
So I'm a
sense if you dig into
it
some of
would.
his music. That shit's dark, and he did suffer
Yes.
greatly from depression and PTSD. And as somebody who has sexual assault history, like that shit fucks with you forever. Like,
Yeah, it's not something that just goes away.
no. So I could see it.
But
And
no, that's my theory at least. Like I don't have necessarily any heart compelling like evidence, and I'm sure like if I dove more into the
I
interwebs
bet we
and
could find it.
but I mean like I like how you said based off his music, just like the lyrics, and granted like a lot of the lyrics, Mike Shinoda and the rest of Linkin Park all were like part of it,
Mhm.
but I mean
But he was the
he
main.
was
He was the guy.
he was the main.
He was our man.
But here is a wild theory, and I don't like the theory that I came across.
All right.
Um, and I hope on everything that it's not true. But with Chester Bennington, how when he quote unquote unalived himself,
Uh-huh.
I have read that Mike Shinoda had something to do with it,
No.
and that's why Mike Shinoda still does the concerts with Linkin Park, and he does "In the End," which was Chester
That
Bennington's
was his
song.
song.
I still, to this day, ever since the passing of Chester Bennington, believe that "In the End" from Linkin Park should be renamed as Chester's song, and just that's just the
100%.
title.
Yeah, it should just be Chester's song because anytime that song comes on, you know it's him.
Yeah,
He put his
and so
literal heart and soul
he
into that
oh,
song.
I get goosebumps every time I hear the
Every
song.
time.
But I've read that wild theory. There is not a lot of traction to it, so I'm taking it with a very mild grain of salt because I'm a fan of Mike Shinoda,
I mean,
and they were like brothers. So I don't know
v-
if that's the case. This is all speculation. So, and I hope that I'm wrong
I
because
mean, I
I
hope so too, but I could also see how promises could have been made in Hollywood to
yep.
our boy Mikey, and he was just trying to get through. Because, I mean, From what I understand, obviously, neither one of us are super duper famous or anywhere near that level of an A-lister celebrity, but from what I understand, like, morality lines and shit, they get blurry fast once you get to, like, that peak of fame, you know what I mean? So, like, I could see if the dude was approached and the Illuminati was kinda just like, "Yo, if you maybe slip Chester this in his drink, we'll make sure you get some monies." And then, I don't know, maybe shit happened. It checks out to me, honestly.
It de- it definitely it could definitely check out.
Now, my question is, so you mentioned that most of these people who wound up dead, they were like investigating and like actually getting answers for like child sex trafficking and shit like that. Do,
Well, they were doing research on like sex trafficking and
yeah,
or at least like child trafficking, all of that.
yeah. So all of that general realm of stuff. So do we have to be worried about Ashton Kutcher?
So Ashton Kutcher is definitely on my watch list because of the work that he is doing.
If he winds up
Uh,
dead, we know who did it, and we're coming
oh yeah.
after you,
Well,
Illuminati.
he's uncovering a lot more than what the U.S. government is even uncovering on
Hmm.
human trafficking and stuff like that. Um,
Well, he's got Mila Kunis helping him out too, and she's because obviously she's from the motherland, and she
yeah,
she has a completely different take on human trafficking in general because I heard her say in an interview like how prevalent it is over in Russia and whatnot. So she's been really helping him with like his search to end trafficking in general. So
yeah,
now if either one of them end up dead, we're gonna know why.
oh yeah. So take that as a note, everybody that's listening. Keep all eyes on Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis for the work that they're doing because it's going to rub people the wrong way. And so just keep an eye out because I think the last time, actually, I know the last time that Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis made a limelight appearance was during that '90s show,
Yeah, they did it. So they popped up for the new
an
season that
episode.
came out. Well, they were. I thought
Oh no, they're in a
they
few.
were in a few of those episodes.
Ashton Kutcher was. Mila Kunis only did I think the one episode, but Ashton Kutcher did like two or three.
Yeah, he was pretty in there, but I mean, that was like guest appearances. That was a situation where people can be like, you know what, he needed money. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah,
Like that was one of those. Not a. I'm gonna go on an all brand new tour and release like 50 new albums. No, he just showed up for a couple episodes and called it a day, like any normal actor or actress or musician.
oh
Not
yeah.
not Taylor Swift. She's just releasing
No,
album after album.
Cur- recruiting more to the Swift Army knives.
Seriously. Her and Avril Lavigne. I feel like Avril Lavigne's gonna end up with her own little army of Gen Zers now because like she's already got the millennials hook, line, and sinker, me being one of them. I don't care if she is a clone, I'd still lick her box. She's very pretty and she sings like an angel, so I'm just it's just wild. And I'm looking at like so I pulled up a couple like articles and whatnot, and I'm just looking at
Uh-huh.
like the Paul McCartney lookalikes, and that guy looks
It's scary.
exactly like Paul McCartney. That's terrifying.
Yep.
I don't like that. And that's like back in the 60s.
Yeah, so imagine now that technology has advanced so far, and now in 2023. Well, here I'll even make it from the 2000s to now.
Yep.
Technology has become so far advanced, like with AI, deepfakes, and stuff like that, that you can legitimately do stuff like this. And everyone's been experimenting, or I say everyone, government agencies have been experimenting with cloning, whether it be like they say animals like sheep, stuff, easy stuff.
They've been experimenting with that though since like honestly the 20s. Like
Yeah,
that's been because they've always been trying to play God. Scientists, they have a really, really bad habit of playing God. And that's how we end up with dinosaurs and like shit going wrong.
Jurassic Park.
Yep. We're definitely in another, like, they turned on that CERN thing. We're in another dimension. There's too many Mandalorian effects to make sense. This is what happens when
Hold on,
scientists science.
hold on. Mandala effects, not Mandalorian
Nope,
effects.
Mandalorian. You can't convince me otherwise. It's my own Mandala effect. I'm going to get everybody
This is
convinced that the Mandalorian was actually a mandala.
this is the way.
This is the way.
I have spoken. I have spoken.
This is the way.
But no, I think Hollywood ended up taking the term from like Star Wars, like why this episode is called Attack of the Clones. When Star Wars came out from George Lucas, from the prequels, Episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
Nope.
I think that Hollywood took that literally, and they're like, you know what?
We're
That's what we're gonna do.
We're gonna send them in. We're gonna steal. You know who I bet they're trying to get next is gonna be Billie Eilish. I feel like they want her bad. And
she does have a huge influence. Like she is completely young, and she does have a huge fan base on top of that. So, is it possible? Yeah.
I don't think it'll work though because she doesn't take shit from anyone. Like the whole she gets put on blast a lot because she doesn't like dress a certain way or what.
Yeah.
Like I think the only reason why she wouldn't be one of their picks is because she pushes back and people don't like that. So I feel like if she winds up dead, she's another one. I'm gonna say that the Illuminati had something to do with that one.
So one of the other cases that got brought up to me was Kevin Hart.
Excuse me?
Kevin Hart has a clone.
No.
And the car wreck that he was in, I forget how, it was a few years ago. Me and my girlfriend were talking about it. She sent me the picture of the car that was at the quote unquote salvage yard. And we've all seen wrecks where like they were like horrendous. Where cars are totaled. And nobody should have survived this car. Well, if you look at that car, I don't know if you're looking at it right now.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
The motor is completely shiny. It's intact. And if you've ever seen like a wreck, a motor gets completely demolished.
Right. And he was driving a pretty old car. He was driving a Plymouth Barracuda. Those cars in general, they had really suspect engines. And I'm looking at the picture right now. The way that car landed, that engine should have exploded.
Not just that, he should have completely died. There's no one that should not have survived that.
No, that is insane. Because there's like the entire top of the car is blown off.
Exactly.
Or it's upside down. I can't tell.
So you know what makes that even more weird when we're talking about car crashes? If he is able to survive a car crash like that, that tells me that and he's still alive.
Mm-hmm. And doing
that
well.
Means doing quote well. He is big air quotations. He was approached, or no, he was cloned because they're pushing an agenda. And the reason I say that is because there are 3 instances of car crashes that people did not survive. And the reason being is because I do not believe that they were wanted to be part of that agenda. And we'll actually do it in chronological order.
All right. Hit me.
Princess Diana.
Big one. Number 1.
Ryan Dunn.
Who's that?
From Jackass. Bam Margera's best
that
friend.
Guy. Okay. Yep.
And Paul Walker.
Please don't. That's my boy right there.
All 3 of them have passed away. And you know what? The other one that actually survived a car wreck, and he's not as funny as he was back in the day. He walks around with a cane now. Tracy Morgan.
That checks. That one checks.
But those 3 instances where they were in car wrecks, Paul Walker, Ryan Dunn, and Princess Diana, they all died in fiery car explosions, and there was no remains left.
Well, I think the one about the Paul Walker's accident, that was a completely freak accident. And he wasn't even supposed to be in that car.
Okay, I'll give you that. I've heard of that one, and there's a possibility he wasn't supposed to be in that car, and it was a malfunction because I think that his family tried to sue. Was it Porsche?
Yeah, so his family did go after Porsche, but you gotta think if the Illuminati was behind it, they can buy out pretty much anything. Like they got money, so they could cover that.
Who says the Illuminati's not part of Porsche?
Exactly, they could own Porsche. How do we know? But
exactly,
because that was the time. Which Fast movie was coming out that he died right before? Was that the 7th? Or was it the 5th? Because that was right when I'll Google it. Paul Walker.
All I know it was the one where they played the sad song.
It was
when him and
it was 2013, so I think it was the 5th one.
Fast 5.
Yeah.
Those movies are so bad, but I have to just finish out the story. They are so bad. I have to finish the story.
It was Furious 7.
That just sounds like an elite group, the Furious 7.
Well, they were an elite group of car thieves, so.
Well, I mean, it reminds me of this from Spider-Man, the Sinister Six, but
that's a good.
So.
I don't know, man. That's a wild theory, but it makes so much sense. It checks.
And see, I don't know what all Ryan Dunn was involved in, and but I know like Princess Diana, like the royal family fucking hated her.
Well, they hate her
So
and Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle's probably going to be the next one to get.
yeah. Well, I know the queen is dead now, so but the royal family is still somehow alive and kicking.
Yeah, it's a weird situation. And I think since they gave up all of their rights to like the throne and everything, I don't think they're on the radar anymore. They kind of just said
Yeah.
screw and went to Canada.
Um,
Actually, you know
I
what?
was
Now that I think about it, your Paul Walker theory makes sense because Kevin Hart and The Rock came into the Fast franchise not long after he died.
Kevin Hart didn't. Kevin Hart was never in Fast.
I think he was. I think he made a
I
cameo
don't.
appearance.
I don't think so. If I'm wrong, then I haven't paid attention to the Fast movies that much because I don't think Kevin Hart. I know the Rock did.
Um Oh, no. It's he had a spoof. Yeah,
Oh,
he
okay,
did a spoof. I thought cuz I'd seen all of them so many times. I thought he showed up in one, but that was a lie. So
okay.
but now I'm wondering if The Rock is part of the Illuminati. Like I feel like cuz they're like best friends. And if Kevin Hart's a clone, like you can't I don't know, man.
That's a big motherfucker to fucking clone if you do the Rock.
What if he wasn't big? What if he got big? Like what if they Captain America'd him?
Like Super Soldier. I mean, there's been like theories that the Super Soldier Serum like exists.
I mean, as somebody who spent a lot of time on government computers researching
That's true. You did a lot of that.
researching all of the conspiracy theories. Also, 9/11 inside job, but that's a different story. Um,
Absolutely.
so I mean, I don't know, man. It's just there's too many questions. And also, I've seen plenty of proof that they have been doing the super soldier exercises for quite a while, but none in the US, which is very suspect also. Um
And scary.
and scary, but if they can go test on people in a different country, they don't have to abide by American morality laws, so it's a lot easier to take little
Cut through the red
scrubs.
tape.
Yeah, take scrubs in the desert of Afghanistan and be like, "You know what? I'm gonna take your blood and we're gonna put you in this thing and we're gonna see if it works." And then oddly enough, people just disappear. Weird.
Um, one of the other people I was reading on this. Oh,
Why?
I kicked the camera on accident.
Okay.
So this one I don't really necessarily believe on, and I'll tell you why. So there is rumored that Bill Gates is cloned, and I don't believe that.
No.
Reason being is that man is suspect from the day that he came into the light.
He might have been a
Like,
test tube baby. I'll take that he was grown in a test tube.
I'll give you that. But
he's not a clone.
As smart as he is, I think that he is working. I feel like he helps push like the technology of it to get the clones out.
He's involved for sure. Bill Gates is involved. Fucking, I bet you $100 Elon Musk at least knows who's involved.
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind that fucking Elon is part of that. You don't have a kid and name it fucking 7 different letters and call it a fucking human.
Yeah, that's weird. His kid was. You can't convince me that kid isn't a test tube kid.
No.
What if Elon Musk's kid is actually Elon Musk? What if it's his clone?
Nope, don't like that.
I want pictures of his wife pregnant. Hang on.
Wait, I thought he had a daughter. Did he have a son?
Yeah, I thought so. Grimm's. Okay, so they have 2 children, a baby girl named Y. And her big brother is named X.
X and Y chromosomes.
Yep.
It's right there in the
fucking name. That's so weird, dude. And like
they're not even missing a chromosome.
No, not a single one. So wait a minute, if they have another child, is that XY?
Z?
Only if he's born with Down syndrome, I guess, right?
I believe I feel like I'm part of the. I told my girlfriend that I feel like I'm somewhere on the spectrum. But that's a tale for another day. Um,
Uh,
but no, I never even realized that their kids' names were X and Y, and so like XY chromosome. And then you talk about cloning, and Elon Musk is the quote unquote scientist that he is, the billionaire that he is. He's got to be involved.
Also, have you ever seen pictures of his wife?
Maybe briefly.
She is okay. First of all, she's at least 15 years younger than him, which isn't like a weird thing to me because in Hollywood that's kind of the norm. But like, I'm looking at some of these pictures of her, and she doesn't look like a real person. Like, just
so you're thinking like AI?
I'm thinking something. She doesn't look real. There's videos of her and stuff like talking and whatnot. So like, she's probably based off a real person, but this bitch looks like she's from a video game.
Well, I mean, that is a possibility. Like I said, the way he is with technology and the money that he has and the connections that he has, it's a possibility. So instead of a regular surrogate, they pretty much made a possible like AI,
an AI mom.
Carrier.
Yeah,
an AI mom.
What if she's really just a robot? And she's just
like iRobot?
Yeah, like what if she's like an incubator?
Walking test tubes.
Yeah, they get like the little fetus going, right? And then they just like plop it in there so that it gives the illusion of a real pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
But really, she's just a little robot walking around with a test tube baby growing inside of her.
And this is why this segment of the NFA is called Down the Rabbit Hole.
Honestly, it really is. And I'm pretty much convinced now that Elon Musk's kids are his clones and that his wife is actually a robot.
That one, I hope that I hope this sparks that theory.
TikTok, I need y'all to go down the rabbit hole and help me out here. We need proof that Elon Musk's kids are actually clones.
Conspiracy talk, fucking yeah. Oh,
that's fucking wild, dude. His kids are named X and Y.
And that's legitimately chromosomes. Like, that's just not by sheer coincidence.
No.
That can't be.
And he knows that the American people, i.e. us, are too stupid to actually pay attention to that shit. I didn't even know he had a second kid. Not that I actually pay attention, but...
The people that don't pay attention, please do not continue to pay attention. But if we end up missing because we pointed this out, you saw it here first on Down the Rabbit Hole.
Facts. If we end up missing, find Elon Musk. Chances are our DNA is going to pop up again in another 20 years because we've been cloned. Because I'm kind of cute.
Hashtag chase the Musk.
Hashtag chase the Musk. All right. Well, we're right at that 45-minute mark. We are. I think we went down the rabbit hole quite enough for today.
Yeah, we went down a little bit more of the rabbit hole, and I honestly feel like each episode is going to get further and further down there. Like, we're going to end up having timeshare homes
each day
at different intervals.
Each day we fall further and further from the Lord.
Pretty much.
Oh my God, I can't.
But like we said, we're coming up on that 45-minute mark. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up before we get blacklisted.
Yeah, seriously. And wind up really missing.
And get no-knock rated. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Let us know what you guys think. You know where to drop your comments, your concerns, what have you.
Hit us up.
We'll listen to them.
Give us all of your whines, your gripes, your complaints, or even your compliments. And if you have a rabbit hole you want us to go down, send it to us.
Yes.
Because
we are open to interpretation.
We are open to interpretation. So whatever rabbit hole you send us, just know it might not be the episode you get. Because I might go down a completely separate rabbit hole. Because we have the ADHD.
It might not end up the way that you want it.
Yep. Thank you, everybody. We hope to see you next time.
I'm Nick.
I'm Ellie. And this is Down the Rabbit Hole.
We'll see you guys later.